Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Jeffrey Epstein, UFOs, government secrets. At first glance, these names seem to be just slightly connected until you look deeper. Behind the scenes, a hidden war is unfolding over the soul of America and the truth about who and what flies in our sky. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll see why Epstein's ties to tech, black budgets, and defense insiders could matter more now than ever, and why Trump may be the key to unlocking all of it. Let's set the record straight here. I'm going to lay out the facts here so you can make your own informed decisions about what's going on with the Epstein list. There's a lot of speculation out there, and I've been asked about it a lot, so I spent some time researching and listening to the Lord so as to connect the dots for you. So let's do this. Now, was there a link between Epstein and Donald Trump? Yes, we all know it. We've seen the pictures. Elon brought it up recently. There was. There was also a link between him and Elon Musk. So go back and watch the God Show Me What's Going to Happen with the Epstein Files Part 1 video. It's a long title, I know. And see the connection between Elon. So yes, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein did know each other socially. They were photographed together in the 90s, but unlike others, Trump cut ties. He banned Epstein from Mar-a-Lago. He never took Epstein's money, never invested in his operations. And let's be real, if they had something on Donald Trump, they would have used it against him to get him out of office by now. Even Epstein's lawyer said if they had something, they would have used it by now. He messes with their plans, and they don't like it. That's where the link ends as far as personal associations go. Now, contrast that with Bill Clinton, however, who has Clinton so many people, including his good buddy Jeffrey, who flew on Epstein's jet, the Lolita Express, over 24 times. In case you don't know what 24 is, that makes it sound like a low number, in my opinion. At least 24 times. At least 24 times. Or Prince Andrew, embroiled in international scandal. But with Trump, no criminal collaboration has ever been proven, and I don't believe that there ever will be, because like I said, they would have figured it out. Trump did appoint certain figures like Acosta and Dershowitz, men who had also crossed paths with Epstein, but was this a conspiracy or simply the unfortunate overlap of elite legal and political circles? Trump stated recently that he didn't know politics and who to appoint when he was elected the first time, and he appointed people based on recommendations from those he trusted. Now, what we don't see is any link between Trump and Epstein's scientific or technological network. But this is where the shadow starts to form here. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't just a predator. He was also a networker, a manipulator, a financier of forbidden science. The paperwork is all there, as I pointed out in the last video. He poured millions into places like MIT, funded AI research, met with scientists working on genetics, neurotech, and quantum computing. He even backed Carbine, a startup led by Israeli ex-Prime Minister Ehud Barak, focusing on homeland security and 911 systems tied to elite Israeli intelligence. Carbine was also funded by Peter Thiel, a billionaire who supported Trump and built Palantir. Is it Palantir or Planeteer? I don't remember, but that is one of the most wicked, in my opinion, wicked, corrupt surveillance firms ever. They scored over $900 million in contracts under Trump's administration. Some see there are weird connections, right? And it's to be expected, though, because Epstein seemed to have his dirty little hands in everything. Now, Palantir or Planeteer, however you want to say it, that company, it has its hands in basically every surveillance company, every surveillance program that nations around the world use. That's it. It's very do the research on it. It's very dark. Now, Epstein secretly invested $40 million into Thiel's fund. That money, now worth nearly $170 million, was entangled in the same tech pipelines that serve the Pentagon. You see the convergences here? Epstein, Thiel, Barak, Palantir, and Trump's defense initiatives. It's not just about parties. It is about power. And then there's Elon Musk. Loved by some, feared by others. He was the Democratic Party's golden child until he exhibited common sense and chose to endorse Trump rather than far-left extremist political ideology. In doing so, he received massive support from Donald Trump's administration. SpaceX became the darling of NASA and the U.S. Space Force under Trump. Now consider this. Epstein's circle socialized with Elon Musk. Epstein claimed to advise Elon. Even though Elon denies any link to Epstein, photos still link Epstein's guest to Musk's wife. Was this a coincidence or a connection? To be fair, I heard somebody say that the reason that Trump is not releasing the Epstein list is because he's trying to protect innocent people who are on the list. That didn't have anything to do with the shenanigans of Jeffrey Epstein. And he knows that the media doesn't care. The media will go crazy and blow everything up and ruin people's lives because of the Epstein list, which that makes perfect sense to me. So just because a person would be on the Epstein list doesn't necessarily mean that they were doing all of the bad things. Trump started the U.S. Space Force. He made bold statements about revealing UFOs. He called Musk a genius worth protecting. Trump seems to be very adamant about revealing the truth about UAPs and has claimed that we have technology beyond anything that the world can imagine. He used that phrase to threaten China real good. Trump said in 2020, we have to protect our genius. Some say he meant national secrets, but come on, we all know that he was talking about Elon because he specifically said it, right? Others believe he meant he was holding keys to secrets not of this world, which is also true. Here's what I was told by God when I asked why Trump has not exposed this. I believe it's because Epstein or someone somewhere had dirt on him, and I started to get really suspicious. But God said that's not what it was at all. And I was like, okay, because let's be perfectly honest with you. When someone says, put the list out, put the list out, we'll put the list out, we'll put the list out, and then says, there's no list all of a sudden, it seems pretty suspicious, right? It makes you think, oh, maybe he did do something. And then Elon was like, yeah, put the list out. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that. So I had to pray about that. And I was afraid to pray over this and get a word from the Lord regarding this because I was afraid that I was not going to be able to hear clearly regarding this because of my own personal opinion. So I had to shut that opinion off and listen. The Lord showed me if Epstein's web was fully revealed, it wouldn't just expose perversion, it would uncover a Babylonian system controlling science, politics, media, and tech, and all hell would break loose in this country and even around the world. Revelation speaks of a great prostitute, a system of immorality and control. Epstein's network mirrors that very image, seducing leaders, influencing science, funding AI and genetics like the modern Tower of Babel builders. And like I said in the last video, you can find all of that in our book, The Mark of the Beast from Creation to Revelation. God is using Trump as a Cyrus-type figure. He's not perfect, but he is appointed to disrupt the elite alliances, expose corruption, and force a spiritual reckoning. This all began when Trump had called for the declassification of the UAP files, JFK records, and deep state secrets. This is part of a divine setup to unveil the truth in God's timing. Now, here's what would happen if Epstein was confirmed to be an intelligence asset linked to black budget science or UAP programs. I shared this before in tomorrow's headlines today and spoke about how it can't all come out at once because the economy would collapse and Trump's strategically setting up the economy for success before he exposes this stuff. Now, here's prophetic insight into what this will look like. Number one, collapse of public trust in the FBI, CIA, intelligence networks. Not unbelievable because I don't trust them anyway. Number two, global backlash against Mossad, MI6, and covert alliances. Three, congressional hearings that would rival Watergate. Just shock and awe scandals. And we will see some of that come to pass. Four, judges, politicians, and CEOs being exposed as blackmailed assets. And that has been prophesied that will happen also. Five, the death of credibility in academic science and AI advancement, but also at the same time, explosive growth in new technology because more people will have access to technology that could figure things out quicker and they could share their research and you would see growth happen rapidly. And number six, massive societal trauma and prophetic vindication because we were warned. In seven, last but not least, rioting across the country as a result. This is why you feel the tension in the spirit. This is not just a political war, it's spiritual. God is shaking the systems. Now, I believe we're in a moment of divine exposure, and God is tearing down this modern day Tower of Babel that's built on abuse, secrecy, blood money, and sexual scandals. Trump may not be perfect, but he was selected by God for this time. Like Cyrus, he's a vessel. God's giving him wisdom to protect the people from exposing this until the time is right. Isaiah 45:3 says, I will give you the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that you may know that I, the Lord, who call you by your name, I am the God of Israel. God promises to give Cyrus the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, and this is a multifaceted prophecy. It signifies God's sovereignty over all things, including wealth and resources, even those hidden and seemingly inaccessible. It also points to God's ability to use unexpected individuals like the non-Jewish King Cyrus to fulfill his purposes and promises and bless his people like he said he would. So we may not see everything yet, but trust this. The Lord is not asleep, and you should make sure that you're awake as well. If the watchmen don't warn people, then we are held responsible if something bad happens and we saw it and didn't say anything. So make sure that you share this and talk about this. What do you think? Is this a divine setup? Let me know in the comment section. Or is this a global deception? Is Trump protecting America from the chaos associated with hidden secrets until he can bring exposure to the right people at the right time? Comment below. Do you believe that God is using Trump to bring truth to light in this generation? Share this video with everyone you know. Like and subscribe. It's time for the church to rise up, pray, and discern. And remember, Ephesians 5:11 commands us to have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but expose them. So stay in the word, stay in prayer, stay watchful. The shaking has begun, but after the shaking comes the glory. And make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on what's coming next.